Hello, my name is Hammy, and this is week 5, and this is our learning activity, and I'm creating a paper slide for a student that we will call Danny. So, hi, meet Danny. I met Danny 2 years ago. He was a student in my Honors Algebra 2 class. Danny was very eager to learn and participate in class, and he was always ready to help his fellow classmates. He was very helpful to them. He, of course, was gifted in math, so he had a really good understanding. And we're pretty much grouped. It was pretty much all honors kids. So he would be the first one to stand up and help others to understand. He's a level 4 in mathematics, or he was at the time. Danny was a sophomore at the time and was taking a rigorous course load. He had all honors or AP level courses, but still he managed to complete his tasks, perform well on assessments, and maintain an A average in my course all year long. I started noticing Danny procrastinating around late third quarter. He seemed to be having a hard time juggling all of his courses and keeping up with everything. His quality of work also decreased somewhat, but it was absolutely still above average, but it lacked Danny's usual meticulous nature. So, then Danny became a junior, which was this past year, and was in my honors pre-calculus course. I was excited to see him return from summer, seemingly refreshed and with his usual tenacity for learning. But Danny, again, is in his junior year now, taking an extremely rigorous schedule. He has all AP and honors level courses with instructors, myself included, who inspect a lot in their classes. I know several of his instructors, myself included, we all require homework every night. There's an assignment pretty much every single solitary day in our classes. But Danny's striving for graduation with top honors, so he takes them all. He's starting to fall asleep in class now, I'm noticing, which is not like Danny at all. When I talk to him about it, he complains that he thinks homework is pointless if he already knows how to do and knows the material and knows how to do the work. So he just stops kind of doing it because he still passes the tests okay. He's overwhelmed and he's starting to fall behind. His teachers notice, we all have, and we all reached out to him. But Danny says not to worry, he'll get everything done, and he always did. He always manages to pull it out in the end and get his A, at worst a B. So then what we started noticing was that in addition to his academic load, he also needed to start preparing to take the ACT and the SAT tests. He needed to start searching for and applying for scholarships and keep up with his extracurricular responsibilities. Danny did great on his ACT and SAT exams. He scored well enough to qualify for the dual enrollment programs that we offer. He did really start procrastinating in my course, the Honors Pre-Calculus. I got on to him several times throughout the year. He told me he had to prioritize because I would accept his work late. Basically, my class took last priority so that he could keep on top of all of his other responsibilities. So he ended up with a B for the course. He was working right up until the end, but he procrastinated a little bit too long this time. His final exam, though, was spot on with the district average, but deep down, he and I both know he could have done much better. So we need to have an RTI meeting for Danny, and we need to know who's going to be there. Well, obviously Danny. His parents need to be there, his teachers, his guidance counselor, and if this existed, a gifted specialist. I think we have one at the school, obviously. We have resource people to work with our special education population. But specifically for me, I know that we don't have a specialist as far as math goes. I'd often thought about giving Danny alternatives to showing mastery of the concepts or objectives, but I'm just not qualified to come up with that kind of material and have any kind of confidence in that it really does show that he learned what the state says he should learn based on regular criteria. So, I mean, I don't feel like I'm qualified to come up with that kind of material. And again, in math, I don't know. We need some people that are qualified in math to come up with some different options for these kids that are well advanced, instead of just the typical, here's the lesson, here's 10 problems, solve 20 of them, here's a few application problems, see how you can do. We need something more than that for these kids. But it is what it is. So what is the focus for our meeting? The focus of the RTIT meeting for Danny will be to help Danny manage his senior year in order for Danny to reach his educational goals. Big time, Danny needs to work on time management. He bites off so much with good intentions. He wants to meet and, get every course he can that's going to look good on his transcript and maintain a good GPA, but still be involved in extracurricular stuff and have somewhat of a social life. And what I noticed is his time management just kind of went to pot. His homework load, for me, I can only speak for me. I give homework every single solitary day, and in a course like Honors Pre-Calculus, those problems can get quite lengthy and time-consuming, and they can be repetitive. Again, I was alluding to it before, how I wish I felt qualified enough to come up with some other alternative project or something that they could prove their mastery of these concepts. But I don't feel qualified to do that. Maybe to talk about his extracurricular responsibilities, what he has on his plate, what maybe he could give up to give himself more time. Some help with finding scholarships and preparing for college entrance exams, although he's pretty much taken care of all of that by now. And then this is the one that, if we could have this meeting, that I would be most interested in, is to discuss possible acceleration or differentiated curriculum alternatives for him. I think he is going to do this for next year, his senior year, which I'm very happy for. But again, this would be very interesting to me if I felt confident in the resources we had to offer it to him and others like him. So how will the meeting run? Well, I think first of all, we need to have an interview with Danny to determine his educational goals. What is it that he's wanting to go into? What would be the best course? What does he need to get on that track? And then we need to interview with his parents on, like I said, I'm noticing him falling asleep in class. Is there other things going on that, other than academic pressures, that we need to be aware of and maybe can address there? And then I would say that we need to have an interview with his core teachers to determine, his expected workload and what maybe we could do about that. Again, here would be where we could maybe talk about alternate forms of Danny showing mastery of standards and benchmarks. And then finally, we would need to have discussions with a gifted specialist. Again, for me, obviously, I would want one that's specializing in math, on what the options for Danny are to best determine a course of action for his senior year. And then finally, what should happen during all parts of the meeting. Not finally, I guess, a couple more. First of all, I think that if we had this, again, I would prefer one that is specialized in math. Obviously, that specialist should be present during all interviews, especially the math one. And Danny's best interest should be at the forefront of all decisions made. It's often, I know I get invested in these kids and be like, oh, this is what you should do, and you start having goals and dreams for them, and sometimes we stop listening to what their goals and dreams are because we think we know what's best for them. So that should be very important. And then what intervention would I choose? Well, I think it's already been chosen. He did score high enough to enroll in our dual enrollment program. So I'm saying, after careful discussion, it's been decided that Danny will enroll in the dual enrollment program we have with a local college. Okay, it's going to get him to be with more people with his academic goals and paths. college, career. He's getting a head start on college. He'll get a year college paid for free. And yeah, there's the head start. Okay? And then, why? Well, he's very focused on his educational goals. He's not real into, social drama, if you will, of high school. His scores support our belief that he can handle the expectations and responsibilities of a dual enrollment program. 7 classes a day with 7 homework assignments that pretty much bore him to tears is not working. So all concerned believe that Danny will flourish in a college setting. This has been my paper slide, I guess, of Danny. Thank you so much.